Your fingers are holding secret information about you, things you can actually read, and most people go their entire lives without ever decoding it. Put your hand flat on the desk and really look at it, like you're seeing it for the first time. The index finger, the one next to your thumb, and the ring finger, the one next to your pinky. Which one comes out longer? Hold that answer in your head because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what it means, and a few of those meanings are going to catch you completely off guard. The length of those two fingers was decided before you were even born by a flood of hormones washing through the womb, and it quietly predicts things about your body, your brain, and the way you handle risk. I'm going to walk you through the actual science, bust a couple of myths that have been floating around the internet for years, and then land on one reveal that genuinely changes how you see yourself. If you click away, you'll never find out which of these traits is secretly yours. And yes, before anyone in the comments accuses me of clickbait, this is real science. Your finger length really does say something about you. This isn't a horoscope. It isn't one of those personality quizzes your aunt shares, and it isn't me making stuff up to keep you watching. Your hand is a window straight into your biology, and that window got installed before you ever took a single breath. So let's name what we're actually talking about. Scientists call it the 2D4D ratio. Fancy term. All it means is the length of your index finger compared to your ring finger. If your ring finger wins, they call that a low ratio. If your index finger is longer, that's a high ratio. That ratio isn't random, it isn't luck. It got stamped into you while you were still in the womb and you had zero say in it. Around the 8th week of pregnancy, a surge of testosterone washes over the developing fetus and it does two things at the exact same time. It stretches out the ring finger and it rewires the brain. More of that hormone in the womb, longer ring finger. So what you're looking at right now is basically a frozen photograph of a hormone storm that happened decades ago, back when you didn't have a face yet. And that single hormone surge, it didn't just stretch out bone structure, it helped set the initial baseline for how your brain and body were wired. That means your finger ratio is a direct biological indicator of the exact hormonal environment. People with the low ratio, the longer ring finger, keep showing up in some surprising places once you go through the research. They tend to sprint faster. They've got better spatial awareness, the kind where you can mentally rotate a shape in your head without thinking. They're more comfortable with risk, the calculated kind. There's actually a famous study on stock traders that found the guys with the longer ring fingers made way more money, but specifically in volatile markets. They actually have an appetite for the exact kind of chaos that makes the rest of us flinch. They're the ones buying the dip and holding the line while everyone else is panicking. Now, if your index finger is the long one, that's a whole different vibe, and honestly, it's kind of a superpower. You're probably the person who always knows exactly what to say while the rest of us are tripping over our words. You've got this natural patience. You can actually sit with a problem without losing your mind. Yeah, maybe you're a little more prone to overthinking things or getting a bit anxious, but that's just because your brain is busy being careful. You're the one proofreading a text 3 times to make sure it's perfect, planning the road trip snacks down to the last detail, and picking up on a weird vibe in the room way before anyone else even notices something is off. Now, before you go flexing in a mirror and declaring yourself a born risk taker or a careful thinker, you should know that none of this is destiny. I really want to hammer that because it's the part people get wrong. We're talking averages across thousands of people, not a rule about you specifically. Your finger doesn't decide who you become. It just hints at where you started, your starting position in the game of life that you're still playing. It's a head start, not a sentence. But there's a part of this that breaks people's brains, because the same ratio shows up in something almost nobody connects to their own hands, and it has way more to do with your daily life. We'll get there. Right now, a quick thing for you to do, and it's going to make the end hit harder. Look at the hand of the person sitting next to you. If you're alone, text one friend a single question. Is your index finger longer than your ring finger? Then wait. Don't tell them why you're asking, just let it sit. Because what their answer says about them is going to make the next part land completely differently. First, let's clear some garbage out of the room because the internet has mangled this topic into nonsense. Your finger ratio does not tell your IQ. It does not predict if you'll be rich. I know that's the headline people want, but the trader thing was about volatility, not lifetime wealth. They did better in crashes, not in life overall. And no, there is no good ratio. Nobody wins the hand lottery, and nobody should feel bad about the hand they got. But the hormone signal is real. The ratio is real. What's fake is the idea that any of it is simple, that you can boil a human down to one number. Your hand is a rough draft of who you were built to be, not a verdict scrawled by biology. A draft you can edit every single day. A starting line you can absolutely outrun. And this is exactly why the final reveal matters. Because the most shocking thing about your fingers isn't about you at all. It's about everyone you've ever stood next to. Everyone you've ever loved. Everyone you've ever argued with over something stupid. Let that sit for a second, because what comes next explains a lot of them, probably more than you'd like to admit. Here it is. Your finger ratio doesn't just predict isolated traits like who's good at sprinting. It predicts how you move through the world and get along with other people in a way that explains about half the arguments you've ever had in your life. People with the lower ratio, the longer ring finger, tend to be what researchers call systemizers. They navigate by map, by logic, or when they're lost, they trust the rule over the room, the system over the vibe. The higher ratio group, the longer index finger, leans toward empathizers. They navigate by people, by reading the room, by feel. They trust the face over the formula, the relationship over the rulebook. And here's the weapon buried inside that, the thing nobody tells you. The person whose hand looks nothing like yours isn't wrong. They're not being difficult. They're running a completely different operating system, and they can't just switch to yours any more than you can switch to theirs. That fight you had last week about whether to plan the whole trip down to the hour or just feel it out when you get there, that wasn't a character flaw on either side. That might have been two different ratios arguing about how the world is supposed to work. Rather than losing your temper the next time a loved one does something that makes absolutely no sense to you, it might be worth checking their hand first. So, the next time you're staring at your hand at a stoplight or zoning out in a meeting, just remember what's actually there. It's not just skin and bone or old scars. It's a snapshot of the exact moment your biology decided to start shaping who you are, and then left the rest up to you. Whether your ring finger is longer or your index finger is, it honestly doesn't matter. Neither one is better than the other. But remember, you're literally holding proof that you were already becoming yourself long before you had a name or anyone else had an opinion about you.